Hey, everybody. Listen, y'all do me a favor and jump on real quick because I have something that I really want to share with you guys. I'm not going to take a lot of time, but it's just some things that I wanted to jump on that I've just kind of been marinating about some things today that have just been on my heart, and I wanted to drop a quick word about the cost of being too common. And so I want you, if it's a pop up, but this is one of those real talk pop ups that I really want to release, really a word that I believe is going to kind of help give us some clarity. Those of us that are entrepreneurs, those of us that are in ministry, those of us in any type of business, in a career. Listen, I believe that this is going to help us for the next level. And so, hey, everybody, do me a favor. It's a pop up. Get everybody on because I want to deal with something that I believe that we've probably been struggling with and dealing with, but I really want to bring some clarity. Hey, y'all, I really want to bring some clarity now, especially if you know some entrepreneurs. There's a trap that some of us get into. Listen, I love that you guys are tagging. Come on in because I really want you guys to understand a concept. And I really want to give you what I always call a prophetic perspective about something, especially as it relates to us, those of us and those of you who have some type of gift, who have some type of call, who have some type of ministry, who has some type of anointing or whatever it is. There is, I really want to deal with this. There is a cost of being too common, and I really want to share something with you guys. Thank you all for coming on real quick. Listen, if you have a group that you want to share it with, go ahead and get them in. Hey, y'all, because I believe that this is going to revolutionize the way that you deal with people, whether it is in ministry, whether it is in business, whether it is people that are in your circle, that are people that are in your atmosphere. I always talk about doing a couple of things. I always talk about there's internal inventory. You guys know I talk about that. And you guys know I always talk about doing external evaluations. And then I always talk about an atmosphere assessment. Listen, it's going to be a good one. And so thank you guys again. Share it because it's a pop up. But there was just something that has literally just kind of been churning. And I want to help the people. I want to help those of us that if you're in a place, if this is you, if you're in a place where you don't seem really to be making a mark like you want to. You don't seem to be making the impact that you really feel like you should be making. For some reason, you're not being able to really hammer down. Thank you guys that are sharing, really hammering down and making a significant impact, whether it is personal, whether it is professional, whether it's prophetic, whatever area of your life. This is going to help you all. I believe it's going to give what I call prophetic perspective to something. So I was thinking, and thank you guys that are showing up. Thank you guys that are sharing. I'm not going to be on here long, but I literally think that this is going to help. I'm a clarity strategist. And so I say this, and y'all already know it's coming. Isaiah 59:10 in the CEV. We feel our way along as if we were blind. We stumble at noon as if it were night. We can see no better than someone dead, right? And until somebody comes and helps us see better, helps us see in the dark places, until the eyes of our understanding are enlightened, what we'll do is we'll be tripping, we'll be falling, we'll be stumbling over things because it wasn't clear to us, because we didn't have an awareness, we didn't have an understanding. And so hopefully in these next few moments, I'll give you some insight and some clarity about why you may not be getting the impact that you need in different arenas of your life. So for those of you guys that if it's your first time watching, hey, I'm Dr. E, and I'm so excited to be dropping this word. You guys know that not only am I a clarity strategist, but I'm a coach, I'm a mentor, I'm a speaker, I'm a prophet, all those different things. And so tonight I wanted to give us some real talk. Usually I come in on, I've been lately coming in on Sunday nights, sometimes Saturday mornings, and giving you guys a word about different arenas. But this time, I want to deal with something, and I want everybody to type it into the comments. The cost of being too common. There's a cost with being too common. Maybe that's what you type. There is a cost with being too common. Man, y'all need to share. This is going to be, I'm just going to get real good real quick. There is a cost with being too common. One more time for y'all in the back. There is a cost with being too common. So this may it resonate with people differently. One of the things when we're brought into a place of enlightenment, when we're brought into a place of clarity, sometimes what it does is it creates friction. It creates something. It rubs against some theology. It rubs against the notion that we've believed for so long. But I want you to understand tonight, there is a cost with being too common. And we need to be able to recognize this, because somewhere we've put ourselves in this position, somewhere we've put ourselves in this place, and we've facilitated a certain level of familiarity in certain circles. And that familiarity will cause us to faint. It will cause us to fall short. It will cause us to flunk. It will cause us to flip. And so I need you to understand, man, hear me. There is a cost with being too common. Thank you guys for coming on and sharing. I believe it's going to help us. And so here's what happens. We have to understand, first of all, that God didn't call us to be common. Yeah, let me just go ahead and break this out. God didn't call us to be common. Maybe you need to type that as a personal affirmation for yourself. God didn't call me to be common. Look, let me prove it in the word. You already know I can prove it in the word. First Peter, and we know this very well, chapter 2, verse 9 says, but, because I don't know what you might have been thinking, but you are a chosen generation. You are a royal priesthood. You are a holy nation, a peculiar people. So right there, listen, I got to go back to what I just said. You were not called. God didn't call you to be common. He didn't call you to be common. And so what happens, and the reason why that creates a cognitive dissonance for us, the reason why it rubs us the wrong way, is because so many times we're trying to fit in. This is going against our theology, but man, I hope I'm waking y'all up a little bit this evening, tonight, whatever time it is from where you're watching from. He didn't call me to be common. So we're called out to be peculiar. We're called out to be different. We're called out to be unique. We're called out to be special. But why do we spend so much time trying to fit in? Why do we spend so much time trying to blend in? Why do we spend so much time trying to go with everybody else's flow? Why do we spend so much time trying to hide? Because we don't understand that there is a cost of being too common. Ooh, I hope this is helping. And so if we're not careful, we'll fall into the facade of familiarity. We'll fall into this cycle. We'll cultivate complacency. I say this all of the time. Well, I don't want to ruffle any feathers, and I don't want people to be looking crazy because I'm going against the grain, and so we start apologizing. Man, I hope this is helping. We start apologizing for the things about us that are unique. We start apologizing for the things about us that are unorthodox. We start trying to hide those things that don't look like what we're used to seeing. Is this for anybody tonight? I spent so many years, and you guys know I always say that truth plus transparency equals transformation. And so I remember for so long trying to dismantle my differences. This already is getting good. I spent so many years trying to dismantle my distinctions. Man, this is fresh download. I spent so many times trying to dismantle things that caused a divide. And so what happens with us is, because we don't understand that there is a cost with being too common, we'll try to dismantle everything about us that makes us different. We'll try to tear everything about us that makes us stand out, Think about it. Usually the things on the inside of us that don't look like everybody else, that doesn't sound like everybody else, we're so used to wanting to pacify people's perceptions of our passivity. Listen, I already feel me going in. We pacify people Because a lot of times when people are dealing with their own internal issues, if people are dealing with insecurity and insufficiency and intimidation and inferiority, what they will do is they'll start looking crazy when you're doing things out of the norm. And they'll say, hey, whoa, it doesn't take all that. Hey, wait a minute. You're being a little too unorthodox. What are you doing? We do it like this. What are you saying? No, this is you do it like this. And so if we're not careful, what we'll do is we'll try to pacify other people's perceptions. Man, can I say that for the people in the back? If we are not careful, we'll begin to pacify other people's perceptions of who we are, of how we should show up, of what we should say, of who we should look like, or how we should wear our clothes. Listen, I deliberately, I love mixed patterns. And today, I don't know if y'all can see, but I have on mixed patterns. I got on, let's see, army green fatigue and black and white, and just a whole bunch of mixed patterns, right? Because one of the things that'll happen before I became transformed by the renewing of my mind, I said to myself, that doesn't match. That's going to make people, why you put those patterns together? That doesn't, see how something really common, something really small like that. But that's what will happen with us. We'll be so busy trying to pacify other people's perception. And so I remember a long time, I would mix patterns. I would be like, no, if it's got green in it, you need to find something else green that goes with it. If it's yellow, then you need to find something that goes with yellow. And so what happens is that's ingrained. We've indoctrinated, man, y'all better hear this, commonality into our mindset. And so we'll go around and we won't allow the uniqueness of us to come out. We won't allow those things that are within us to come forth. And so what we will do is we'll be so busy, man, y'all should be sharing this. We'll be so busy trying to pacify other people's perceptions of who we should be, of how we should show up. And so think about how much time we spend not operating in our purpose, not operating in our power, not operating on our platform, not operating in our purpose, but we spend time trying to pacify other people's perception. Am I talking good today? And so instead of just launching out, we're thinking, well, I don't know what people are going to say if I show up like this. Well, I was monitoring the other folks and they did it like that. And so because if I do it, see, my gift doesn't look like this. I wish I had my example. I taught a long time, a couple of, maybe last year, I was teaching on gifts. And I was teaching about the dangers of poor packaging. And one of the things, it had to be around Christmas time because I had a bunch of presents and I had wrapped them up all differently. And I was showing that everybody's gift is packaged differently. Man, somebody gonna get free tonight. Everybody's gift is packaged differently. And so sometimes, this is good. Sometimes our gift looks the long way and it's long and it's thin. And we're trying to make our gifts fit into a regular rectangle box. Man, hear me. And so what happens is if your gift is elongated, if your gift reaches to the high and to the low, then because you get intimidated about other people, well, that's not the normal size, man. Y'all better, somebody ought to say, I'm custom made. Man, I hope I'm custom made. And so what will happen is when you go to buy something, y'all better hear this. There's a cost of being too common. When you go to buy something, what usually happens is that the things that are common are always in supply. Woo, man, this is good. The things that are common are always, they're always there. There's always a supply of things that are common. And so when you start thinking, thank you, bro, when you start thinking about packaging your gift, the first thing you do is say, I'm going to let my gift fit into whatever the common size is. You go shopping and you say, I need some gift boxes. And so you'll always see that rectangular box. Because that's the common, y'all hear this, that's the common dimension, that's the common size. And so what we will do, listen, I feel the wind. What we will do is we'll start trying to cut off parts of our gift. Man, we'll start trying to shave off parts of how we were made. We'll start trying to cut down off of some things that are very unique to us in order to make it fit into what's coming. I feel like running. And so we're saying, how do I fit into this regular box? How do I get? Well, the truth of the matter is you are custom made. The Bible says that you're fearfully and wonderfully made. That means there was some customization. Let me tell you something. I feel the fire. Let me tell you something. When you go and get something customized, you have to pay a little bit more. Man, it might help 10 of y'all. But listen, when you go to get something customized, it's going to cost you a little bit more. You're not going to be able to assess it very quickly. They're going to have to send it off, and you're going to have to wait for them to get it back to you because they understand that this is not common. Am I helping? And so when I was working solely in marketing and design, I recognized something. I recognized that one of the reasons why I was able to make money, why I was able to be in demand is because I knew how to do something special. I knew how to personalize things for people. Man, it's going to make sense in a minute. I learned I realized, I feel the wind. I realized that people don't want something everybody already's got. I feel like running. I recognize that people don't want something everybody already has. And so when I became a graphic designer, when I started really operating in marketing, I realized that people wanted something that was just for them. Woo! People wanted something that just spoke to them. They wanted customization. I feel like running. They wanted personalization. They wanted something that said, you might have something similar, but it won't be this. You might have some. And so what I would do is when it came time for somebody's little boy's birthday, I would customize the invitations. I would put just the things that he wanted on his invitation so that it stood out. But it's a cost. It's a cost for customization. Y'all better, I'm teaching y'all something in the natural and in the spirit. I hope I'm helping somebody. Most times, I don't know who this is for. Most times when folks don't want to fool with you, it's because they realize that there is a cost for customization. A lot of times people want to box you in to what's familiar. They want to box you in. Well, baby, listen, if you wanted something familiar, then you go get whatever's familiar because it's common. You go into the store and you look for a common good, then guess what? Two things, they're going to be available and they're going to be cheap. I'm talking to somebody that's been feeling some kind of way because some certain relationships hadn't worked out. Well, could it be because they didn't want to pay for the personalization? Could it be that they recognized there was a cost for customization? Could it be that they recognized, baby, you're not regular? And so when it comes to ourselves, when it comes to our gifts, when it comes to our purpose, when it comes to our in entrepreneurship, in ministry, in the marketplace, we need to understand that there is a cost for being too common. I hope y'all sharing this is a word for somebody tonight. And so what happens is, because we want to please the people, because we don't want to rock nobody's boat, because we're afraid sometimes for people to walk away, because we got issues and we're trying to pacify people's perspective and their perceptions of us. What we try to do is we try to facilitate that familiarity. Don't hurt me, sis. And so here is what will happen. There is a cost with being too common. When something is common, it's easy to access. Y'all better hear this. When something is common, it's easy to access. You can put your hands on it right then. You don't have to look so far because you just can reach it and it's right there. It sits low on the shelf. Y'all better hear this. Y'all got to understand that one of my degrees is in marketing. So hear me when I say this. When you think about it, when people want you to have, why do you think we call it easy access? They put it on the lower shelves. Man, this is helping somebody tonight. They want it to be, they don't want you to have to work for it. That's right, low-hanging fruit. They don't want you to have to look hard for it. They make sure that the price is within your reach. They make sure that they put it in places where they know your eyes can see. You don't have to search for it. You don't have to move mountains for it. You don't have to send off to get it. It's right there. And so when something is coming, when something is coming, you don't have to look far from it for it. When something is coming, it's easy to be taken for granted. It's coming. So why do I really have to show it any extra appreciation? If I lose it, I can replace it. I feel like running. If I damage it, I can just go fix it or throw it away and start back over, because there is a cost for being too common. And so when something is so common, it's easy to be taken for granted. It's easy to be mishandled. Why? Because I can get it whenever I want it. Man, it happens in relationships all of the time. You take that man for granted and you think to yourself, it's too easy. If something go down, it's fine. It's somebody else where he came from. You take that woman for granted and you say, listen, sometimes why are people taking your love for granted? Why are people taking your time for granted? Why are people taking your gifts for granted? Why are they taking your services for granted? Because you made it too common. Maybe this is a word of help. Maybe this is a word of rebuke. But I'm telling you, there is a cost for being too common. When things are easily accessed, when things are easy to get to, when things are right there for you, mean I don't have to work for it? You mean I don't have to pay a lot for it? You mean I don't have to look for it? Oh, child, listen, I can replace. If I lose it, I can replace. But somebody ought to tell yourself tonight, no, baby, this is one of a kind. No, you lose this, you've lost. I'm a hashtag myself. You lose this, you've lost. No. You won't be able to replace this one. No, there was a time in my life, and we have to tell the truth, where I thought common thoughts. I saw myself as common. I saw myself. There was a commonality in my mindset. I put myself in a place of access. Man, it's gonna help somebody. I put myself in a place of accessibility. I put myself in a place because I thought I had a dysfunction. And y'all know I teach all of the time that dysfunction distorts discernment. And so I put myself in the place of commonality, because I said to myself, I need to be needed, and I desire to be desired, and I want to be wanted. And so I would put myself in a place where I was easily accessed. Ask yourself an internal question. Where have I placed myself? Where have I placed myself? Because wherever you place your value is where you place your time. It's where you place your intentions. It's where you'll place your investments. And there was a time when I treated myself as common. I didn't see the value. I didn't want to make it hard for people to come to me and to get access to me. I didn't want to make it hard for people to be able to get in touch with me, because I had a dysfunction. And all I was doing, man, y'all better hear this, is pacifying that dysfunction. I was just making myself available, and there was nothing to lose. Listen, you call, I'll answer. You asked me to show up, and I was there. Where have you placed yourself? There is a cost for being too common. I say all of the time that part of the reason why we're so common, and part of the reason why people don't value us in the way that they should, part of the reason why people don't respect our time and respect and value our love and what we do for them and how we relate to them, is some of it is because we've allowed ourselves to be too common. We've allowed ourselves to be too accessible. I was talking to my team last week, and I said something. to my executive assistant. I said, let me tell you something that people, most bosses, most people who are in some type of leadership, they won't say to you, because sometimes if they still have not matriculated into wholeness, and if they still have narcissistic characteristics, and if they're still dealing with a level of inferiority and intimidation, what people want you to do is they want you to center their lives around you. They want you to center your lives around them. And I was saying to her, I said, listen, here's what I want you to do. Don't ever allow yourself to be uncentered. Y'all better hear this. There's a cost for being too common. Whenever you take yourself out of the center, hear me, hear me, hear me, people. Yes, God is my foundation. Here's what I want you to realize. God is the source, but you need to be the center. God is my source. I get it from him, but it is my job to be the centered. It is my job to be centered. The Bible says, be established, be steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. Be centered. He's the source, but it is my responsibility to be centered. When you are centered, that means that you don't vacillate. We know that the Bible tells us in James that a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. And so some of the reason why we're being so common is because we get off our throne. I just said that we are a peculiar people. 1 Peter 2:9. We're a royal priesthood. Well, if you are a royal priesthood, then why do you keep getting off the throne? Woo, this is going to help. It might pinch you, but it's going to push you into your purpose. If you are royal, why do you keep getting off the throne? We keep coming down every time somebody pulls us out of our place, every time somebody distracts us, every time somebody makes us feel a certain kind of way. We get off the throne and we go running. What do you need? And we don't know how to stay centered. I'll take an ouch if you can't give me an amen. He's the source, but it's my job to be centered. And so I said to my executive administrator, I said, listen, I don't want you to allow me to be the center. Because if you allow me to be your center, when you're off and when I'm off, I'm going to throw everything about you off. When I don't have it together, you won't have it together. When I'm all over the place, you're going to be all over the place. So let me give you some advice. Let me mentor you for a minute. Get back to the center. Man, I feel a prophetic revelation. I didn't even come on to shift into the prophetic, but I feel a prophetic perspective coming here. Get back to the center. See, what happens is I feel the glory. What happens is we get so caught up in what everybody needs and what everybody wants, and we forget how to center ourselves. And so what I told her is, I said, get back to the center. I need you to center yourself. And because if you're solid, then you know how to address me. If you're solid, then you know how to manage expectations. If you're solid, then you'll be able to tell me your hours of operation. If you're solid, then you'll tell me how to treat you. Get back to the center. I didn't know this was going to turn into a prophetic word, but get back to the center. You've let people get you away. You've let people pull you off of your throne. You've let them pull you out of your place. You've let them distract you. You've let them discourage you. You've let them discombobulate you. You've let them get you in a place of depression. Listen, get back to the center. What were you called to do? I feel the wind. Who were you called to be? Get back to the center. What is my center? Sometimes we wonder why we're bordering on insanity, why we're bordering on overwhelm, why we're bordering on financial ruin, because there is a cost of being too common. That when you are in the center, man, it's going to help somebody. When you are in the center, then there are certain things that you'll attract to you. You won't go running after stuff. You won't go running after folks. You won't go running after things. No, I get centered and I seek the kingdom. That's my source. And then everything else will be added. It will come to me. But I got to get back to the center. I've got to get back to who I am. I've got to get back to what I'm called to do. And once I find that center, it's my job to protect it. It's my job to cultivate it. It's my job to make sure that I don't get pulled to and fro. It's my job to make sure that I'm not running around leaving my center unprotected. So we have to realize that when we decide to be common, what we're saying is we're giving people access without instruction. Uh-oh, I say it all the time, but somebody ought to say, teach Dr. E. Yeah. You giving folk access without instruction. There are levels to this. When God begins to elevate, when God begins to reposition, when God begins to get you in a place of prosperity, a place of power, a place of purpose, a place of peace, a place of promotion, you have to recognize, wait a minute, I need to stop being common. I can't allow all this access, all this unauthorized access into my space. You wonder, why am I so thrown off? Why am I all over the place? Well, who did you let in? Who did you let in? Who did you get around? When you're at a place where who did I let in? Who did I allow in my space? Unauthorized access. He's shifting us. And so, wait a minute. It's my job to give you instruction before I give you access. Man, this is for somebody getting free. I hope y'all sharing. It's my job. Oh, we get mad about people. Y'all took my kindness for weakness, and you took me for a fool, and you took advantage of me. Can I tell you, they can't take what you didn't give? Ouch and amen. They couldn't take what you didn't give. You gave access without instruction. That's on you. Somebody ought to just be real tonight. That's on me. Oh, yeah. That's on me. That's on me. I gave them access to me, but I didn't give them instruction. I said, wait a minute, I'm just gonna open my door and I'm not gonna give you hours of operation. Then I get mad when you calling me all times of the night. I just opened my heart and I didn't give you instruction. I didn't tell you that you had to earn your way into the Holy of Holies. No, that's on me. Access, but no instruction. And so this is why people take our time for granted. This is why people take our talent for granted. This is why people take our love for granted. This is why. That's on me. The songwriter said, that's on me, baby. That's on me. And so we've got to get to the place where we said, wait a minute, there's a cost of being too common. I can't be low-lying fruit. I've got to elevate myself mentally. I've got to elevate myself emotionally. I've got to elevate myself psychologically. I've got to elevate myself spiritually. I've got to elevate myself emotionally so that I don't die in my dysfunction. So, as we think about access and elevation, as we think about this next level that's being required, as we think about where we're trying to shift into, there are just certain things that we can no longer do. That it's just certain things that's not going to work for this next level. Can I just give a little apostolic instruction? Man, I just need somebody to type. There are just some things that won't work for this next level. Yeah, there are just some things that won't work for this next level. Some things that I used to do, some things that I used to say, I just kept listening. There's a difference between accommodation. Y'all hear this well. There is a difference between accommodating people and adjusting. There is a difference between accommodation and adjustment. One requires you to move for it. The other requires it to move for you. I need to say this for the people in the back. There's a difference between adjustment and accommodation. One requires you to move for it, but the other requires it to move for you. If I invite, let me show y'all access with instruction. If I invite somebody to my house, right? What I am doing is I'm saying I am going to accommodate you. That means I may have to move some things around in order to make you comfortable. We may have to move somebody out of the bedroom, or maybe we have to move you into the guest bedroom. If it's a lot of people and we have more than 2 or 3 open bedrooms, we may have to make some adjustment. We got to move some things around. But when I adjust something, whew, if I say I need you to adjust your schedule, listen, I'm standing still. I need you to adjust. I just need you to stay where you are. I'm gonna just make some quick adjustments. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to still get off of work at my same time. But what I may do is I may cut off my hours a little earlier so I can come in later tomorrow. I'm not getting out of place. I may just adjust things, tweak it just a little bit, because I want to make sure that we're able to stay connected. See, we've got to get to the place where we stop coming out of ourselves every time somebody wants us to move. Is this an accommodation or is it an adjustment? Some of us have made accommodations when we should have just made adjustments. I don't know who this prophetic rebuke is for, but you better hear me tonight. Some of us have made accommodations when we should have just made adjustments. Or we moved stuff out of the way for folks. Or we changed around whole rooms. We changed around our emotional stability. We've accepted things we said we would never accept. We did things we said we would never do. We accommodated people. We gave them chances we know we shouldn't have gave. We got ourselves in head spaces and in heart spaces. Cool. Y'all better hear me. And we accommodated them. We accommodated their dysfunction. We accommodated them when they didn't want to take it to the next level. We accommodated them because we didn't know how to stand still and make them adjust. And so there is a difference. I'll take the ouches and the amens. There is a difference between accommodating and adjusting. Stand still. Do you know how many times the Bible speaks about standing? Well, I said to y'all at the beginning of the month that I heard the word of the Lord that August was the month of the stand. I feel my help. August was the month of the stand. What do you keep running behind? Who do you keep running behind? Where do you keep going? It's time to stand. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. And having done all, stand. Stand fast. The Bible keeps talking and reiterating that we have to stand, but you can't stand if you always running. Man, I felt that in my soul right then. You can't stand if you're always running. Who you running behind? What are you running behind? Who you running to? Who you running away from? No, not in this season. I'm standing. If you gonna fight, you just gonna fight. If you gonna leave, you just gonna leave. But I'm taking a stand. It's time to stand. So we've got to get to a place. I feel the wind. We've got to get to a place where we are secure in who we are. We're secure in whose we are. We're secure in where we're planted. We're steadfast. We're like a tree planted by the rivers of living water, and we shall not be moved. Well, if I don't move, if I don't accommodate him, he might leave me. May the Lord watch between you and I while we are absent from one another, and may he give you peace and peace. Well, if I don't do everything she say, she might not support my next venture. Oh, okay then. Now unto him that is able to do exceeding abundantly above all I can ask, think, or imagine. Well, if I don't take care of everything they want me to take care of, they might not promote me. Greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world. We've got to get to a place where we're not always running and we take a stand. It's time to stand. Stand still. If you said no, then the answer is no. I'm helping somebody. If you're saying not this year, then not this year. If you're saying this is not what I want, then this is not what you want. Stop making accommodations when you just need to be making adjustments. Stand, and having done all, Having done all that running around, running behind them, running behind him, running behind her, running behind that, and it still didn't work. It's now time to stand. Having done all, stand. Stand. But what if they don't like it? Stand. But what if they don't understand what I'm stand? But what if they start acting fun? Stand. And having done all that, because there is a cost. When you stand, you become peculiar. When you stand, you become personalized. You become a place. God begins to customize you. He begins to do some things in you and make you peculiar and bring out your uniqueness and bring out your value when you stand. Oh, I can't run behind y'all. Oh, I can't run with that crowd. Oh, no, I can't run into that. No, I got to stand. Having done all that, stand. And when you stand, there's some weights that are going to fall off. When you stand, there are some things that's been riding your back for a long time. But when you finally decide to stand, hear me, they're going to drop off. Oh, no, you ain't got to worry about it. They're going to drop off. When you stand and stop running, those phone calls might slow down a little bit. But I guarantee you the things that God has for you now will begin to manifest because you are standing like a tree. Planted, and now the living water can flow. Stand. It's the month of the stand. And so we allow ourselves to get to the place where we're not coming. Everybody shouldn't be able to access you all the time. Again, for the people in the back, everybody, for all 220 of y'all that I can see on my page, all of y'all, listen, everybody should not be able to access you all the time. There should be some times when they don't have access. There should be some times when you're on do not disturb. There should be some times when your purpose is bigger than what they want you to do. Than their request. No, I gotta stand. I said that this is what I was gonna do today, and I need to stand on that. Yeah, but can you run over here and There are just some people I don't have conversations with anymore. There are just some places I just don't have time to go to. I'm not mad. I don't have an attitude. But when I realized that there was a cost when I was so common, it cost me when I was coming. Y'all better hear this. It cost me when I was too common, when I allowed too many people to have access, when I picked up the phone all the time, when I was always in conversation, when I was always everywhere trying to be everything to everybody all the time. It cost me. I value my stand too much. Woo! I felt the fire then. I value my stand too much. No, I can't go back to a place of being common. I'm sorry. I cannot be in a place where I'm always accessible. There are just some times when I will not be accessible. I cannot forfeit my stand. I can't sabotage my stand. Woo, y'all better hear it. I will not. Somebody ought to make a declaration tonight. I will not sabotage my stand. Man, for the people in the back, I feel the wind. I will not, and I can not sabotage. Some of you all are sending seeds, and I'm praying even now over your seed into this word. Y'all know when y'all send seeds, it unlocks the prophetic. And so let me just send. Whoever sent that seed, I heard the word of the Lord say for you that he is giving you a supernatural portion of discernment. Things that used to fool you, now you'll be able to see them very clearly. Hear me. Your seed unlocked that. The scales are falling. There are some things that you were kind of wondering. You didn't want to be misled and you didn't want to be deceived. But I heard the Spirit of the Lord said that your seed just unlocked your ability to see. Man, you better catch that word. If that's you, whoever that was for, receive that word. Whoever that was that sowed that seed, listen, your seed is allowing you to see. That's your word. Your seed just allowed you to see. And God is giving you supernatural discernment to be able to see in Jesus' name. And so I will not sabotage my stand. I can't afford to. It took me too long to get consistent. It took me too long to get to the place where I'm not wavering. It took me too long to find me again. It took me too long to finally figure out what I'm supposed to do. It took me too long to see my value. It took me too long to get this thing correct. And so I will not sabotage my stand. Having done all, I feel the wind. Having done all. The last time I was on this wasn't supposed to be a prophetic pop-up, but let me just, since people are sowing it, it's unlocking the prophetic. The last time I was on, I spoke that the Lord had allowed me to announce and release a wind, and it was the winds of reinforcement. And I hear the Lord say that wind of reinforcement, the winds of reinforcement comes to help you stand. The winds of reinforcement comes to stabilize you. The winds of reinforcement comes because it doesn't want you to waver, because it doesn't want you to fall down. The winds of reinforcement comes so that you will stand. And the scripture that I used was Jude chapter 1, verse 24, that says, now unto him that is able to keep you from falling. See? No, I won't fall back into being common. I won't fall back into being deceived. I won't fall back into people taking advantage of me. I won't fall back into foolishness. I won't fall back into waywardness. I won't fall back into double-mindedness. I won't fall back into intimidation. I'm not going to fall back into the familiar, but according to Jude 1 and 24, the winds of reinforcement are blowing. They're helping me to stand. I will not sabotage my stand. I will not sabotage my stand. I know I get pulled to the left and to the right, and every now and again I want to get familiar, and it makes me sometimes, I miss certain conversations, I miss certain people, I miss certain ways things make me feel, because I felt needed and I felt wanted. But listen, not this time. I cannot sabotage my stand. It's a value. I can't. Not this time. I feel the wind. And so if I have to lose some people, so if I have to lose some positions, so if I have to lose some popularity, I can't sabotage my stand. I know what happens when I cultivate complacency. I know what happens when I flirt with familiarity. I lose my stand. And I will not. I will no longer. I will never again sabotage my stand. Yeah, some things that might happen. Yeah, I can't predict the future, but I will not willfully, not this time. I will not sabotage my stand. Listen, I just wanted to do this real talk pop-up that turned around and was a prophetic pop-up too. I hope that this was a blessing. I just really wanted to drop a word about the cost of compromise. I really wanted you all to understand that there is a cost of compromise, that there is there's value. Have value. You have value, and there is something on the inside of you that is so valuable that you cannot afford to be common. And so for those of you all that sow, blessings unto you all. If you have not been following me, make sure that you stay connected. For those of you all that have been following me, you know I'm getting ready to, I'm in the process of launching a 3-day boot camp for those of you all that are speakers. I know some of you all have signed up for it already, but 3 days where I will be teaching. Let me see if I can find that flyer real quick. 3 days where I will be doing a Mic Master boot camp. And what this Mike Master Boot Camp is for those of you all that have a fear of speaking, that just say, I'm tired of rambling, or I need some help, some speaking. I know I'm called to do something, and I know I have a message for the masses, but I need a little help. I'm almost giving it away. This is my summer blowout, end of summer blowout sale. 3 days with me, a virtual $97 for these 3 days. This boot camp, I'm going to help you master your message, and so I'm so excited. I guess I'll put the link in for that if you have not registered already, because I want to make sure that you guys get an opportunity to work with me. If that is your desire, I'll be offering something real special to people that really want to take it to the next level in speaking. So there is the link for that. And so for those of you all that would like to sew, I just, every single time, I always forget to put that out there. A lot of people are like, "Oh, I was just so glad," and then I get a bunch of emails or a bunch of inboxes like, "I wanted to give." So there's it. I will put in a link, and if my admin or any of them are watching, they'll put the link in as well. If you want to be a blessing as well. Thank you guys so much for jumping on with me. I'm always, anytime that something is on my heart, y'all better know that I am going to release it, because I never know what is tied to my obedience. So again, I'm Dr. E. So grateful for you guys that rock with me and that just really show up for me. And because y'all show up for me, I have to always show up for y'all. All right, y'all. I will see y'all tomorrow night for Mic Drop Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be announcing the winner as of my Master the Mic competition. But also tomorrow night, we're going to be dealing with what stole your sound. And so if some of you all have been feeling like you got to get your voice back, tomorrow night we'll be dealing with what stole your sound. And so we'll see you tomorrow night for Mic Drop Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Good night, y'all.